of the opposition leader speaking about the dead people must get about a Medarest, Maypen Cemetery, every single cemetery in the island of Jamaica, and vote in the next election. That is what the opposition leader was saying. Let us not drag or let us not think that what he was saying. But the fact of the matter is, I think the opposition leader needs to withdraw his statement, because people take it out of context and say that's what the good gentleman was saying. And we must not really dig too deep in it. But what I want to say this morning is the People's National Party is gaining some traction in the polls. And I wish the opposition leader was gaining the traction in the polls too. Because Jamaica need an alternative. Jamaica need help. We have never seen a Jamaican prime minister in history don't get certain diplomatical services. But as I said, I won't go down that road because I have a program at 1 o'clock to talk about that. Something in a something. Opposition leader, you need to hand and pull up in it. Opposition leader, you need to hand and pull up. Because Jamaica's only hope lies in the hands of the People's National Party. And a lot of people may say, Jeffrey, what are you talking about? I'm not talking about two sides of my mouth. I am talking about the state of a nation and an opposition who gave back smash up. That is why they don't want to come on my program, because they say that I am too this and I'm too that. And by the way, people talking to them now come on my program because nobody don't listen to me. When I have no audience. I am saying this morning that our nation is in crisis. I think the opposition leader should write his speeches, before he go on the political platform and speak. I think the goodly gentleman should sit down and write his speeches. Because that should have never come out of his mouth. You must mobilize dead people to vote. And then same one was accusing the current Labour Party at the time. Was it them? I think it was them. Of dead people and voters list. Must we go back down that road, Jamaica? Must the people of this country go back down the road? If we have a fraudulent voters list? Is that the case? Jamaica only hope right now to lead this country, take this country that the ditch that is in. They're lying to us about America in the diplomatic row. By the way, is Dudley Thompson studio there yet? So Thompson need to come into the studio now, because we need to talk. Today's your final day.
Not in yet.
What is it? Miss Isaac, what are you doing? So like you're having the flu.
Yes, it's flying away. It's flying away.
Oh, Lord of mercy, man, you flow away, you know. Don't bother flow like the birds at all, you know. But what is going on in the land of wood and water? Where our opposition leader, and he made, and this is what I don't understand with journalists, you know. The man makes some good points at his conference because I carried it live, and by the way, you have some media houses in our country going on my YouTube channel and taking off my videos. You can't talk, say come from Make We Talk Roots FM, you know. Nationwide. You can't say come from Make We Talk at Roots FM. Call the name. We little back with Talawa. Dead people. We must mobilize the dead. Mobilize the dead. And when we mobilize the dead, they will vote. Make I play the video of what the goodly gentleman said because I don't miss it so. Here is the video. Make I play this video here of what the goodly gentleman said. Aye. Make I play it again. As they say, and we name power party. Huh? As they say, and we name power party. So we name power party. And because we name power party, we have the power to raise the dead from out of Medaris. Now in 21st century Jamaica, when we think that we have passed certain things, we're coming up speaking about raising the dead. I wonder if anybody in the revival church can raise the dead. All we have to do now, go down and Maypen Cemetery with kickle drum or kick a drum. And just beat it. Rum-ba-da-dum, 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 rum-ba-da-dum. And see if we can raise the dead. I have with me joining with me right now. He's gonna come on soon. Is my good friend Luke George Cook, human rights activist. Luke, if you're ready to speak, what do you think about the opposition leader utterance?
So what make you have a call my name after your serious the dead?
Look at that here
Are
now.
you
Speak a little
right?
louder.
Why why do you have to introduce me after your real the dead and you're boom baba do boom baba?
But I stretch my hand to thee, no other help I have but you, O Lord. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica. Come on, Luke, let's go.
well, well, Mr. Golden, having watched Mr. Holness in the last election, visiting all of his revival churches and being wheel and dash and so forth. You have to try something. Say they are the party of power. Now, if they have the ability to raise the debt, then the election is secured. And that's what he said. Some were not so dead yet. On a for do something. Desperate time calls for desperate measures, right? And even those that have traveled to the other side will have to come back and secure them. It's ancestral. Um, I would suggest Jeffrey will probably tell him say him need to go get 6 ball of blue, 3 cream soda, some red and black candle, light a candle and sing a song.
But hold on there. Come to think of it, I should have. Can anybody in the studio find Lloyd Loving their song for me? Light a candle, sing a song, can you find your way back home? Oh my,
Yeah,
the
but
country.
but he has to Mr. Golden has a challenge. He has to be out there and he must be attached to different group of people. He's not an exciting speaker. He doesn't get the crowd row. There is no punchline, and so I would be surprised if the Labour at them will have the man who is going to try to raise the dead.
But hold on there. I hear the General Secretary of the Jamaica Labour Party, Dr. Harris Chang, is calling on the opposition leader to withdraw that statement because Jamaica has passed those time wherein the dead party voters is voting.
Look, it's a statement. It's just like calling donkey man. It's no different from signaling the plane. It's no different from it's no different from Jefferson. It's no different from a Uber or a Porsche. Well, elections you're going to have a lot of driving, and you're going to find things. I mean, if you look at the lyrical content in Damian Crawford, speaking at the Queen's High School graduation, talking about our collective aspiration and why we should understand it, that we together, using the English vernacular, means that if I succeed, you succeed. Um, these elections are going to take more than that for Mark Bolin. He has to now look out for the whether the envelopes are going to increase to 100,000 in some part. He is going into an election where he has just lost a councillor in the Portmore division, and it is in some quarter shaping up to be sort of said to be. We're going back to the bloody days. Although there are some reports coming out of different quarters as to what could have led to the death of this gentleman. Um, so are we going back to the late 70s and 80s in starting? We're going to see some bloodletting. Are our people going to be making those decisions based on what they're seeing happening now in both the economy and and how the country is being managed, and they're going to put their own personal greed and said we're going to vote on policy. I was talking to a lady yesterday who says I am diehard labor right, But when I see the suffering of my colleagues in the downtown area that we are literally sitting for months now over raw sewage, and the mayor and the administration has not really delivered on the promise. That means they don't care, and therefore we're looking on what this administration is doing, and we might not vote in the next election for the PMP, but we're certainly not going out to vote for Master Andrew. And the same situation, Jeffrey, I should tell you, has been going on for some weeks downtown, that our ordinary Jamaican, or as you know, our low class Jamaicans, or if you
No,
want,
no, 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 no. Hold on there, Lou. You mean the people who live below Crossroad, the dirty foot trousers boy, and
the,
this and the
the,
woman Jeffrey behave yourself this morning. Go
not,
ahead, Lou.
me tired for you behave yourself, man. At time you signal the plane and I look at the bird I drive the Jeep. But but Jeffrey, you can't imagine getting up and going downtown for go make you look hustling. And you have to inhale that stench.
But what I want to find out, Luke George, the Prime Minister's wife, the most honorable Juliet Holness, she go downtown Kingston all the while, go buy food downtown Kingston. What is it? She don't come out of her car? She come out of the car, of course, she what? She don't smell the stench. Because tell her husband, must we
Um,
continue like this in this country? Where
well,
the people of Coronation Market pay to be in the market. And the market is in a state where all sewage water running through market.
yeah, man. And
Is the
I'm a
public
note.
is
I'm a
the
notice that public health. The public health has not come out and strike a blow for say this is going on now for several weeks, and it is not being attended to in a timely and effective manner. And you know, these are some of the weaknesses that you have to highlight. That there's no level of priority in terms of public health. I remember, if you have a cholera outbreak downtown, it affects even those who, like Miss Holness yesterday, who are part of the Vumvava and the Vumvavi. Because remember, Coronation Market, going to Coronation Market is almost like a ritual for people on a weekly basis, where you go and you try to secure your ground provision, and you get to really interact. Here is where uptown meet downtown and downtown meet everybody. I asked the whole of the melting pot of happen. How is it that we can have fill sewage water running in the street, and the mayor of Kingston has played a deaf ears and a blind eye to this untenable situation. So Jeffrey, why me I tell you, eh, me hear everybody a big up. I saw a clipping of our Caribbean partners bigging us up on the international row with the United States.
don't talk about that yet. We will talk about that 1 o'clock.
Oh, all right.
Yes. But
Okay.
I want to call out the mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew. Mayor Delroy
Oh,
Williams.
yeah, man. Don't do anything. Cause them say me Marley sleeping on the job. It look
Well,
like a pit.
he and the Minister of National Security sleep on the job a lot, you know.
but I would have loved for you to get a crew to show people what it is that the Jamaican people, who basically, when we're going to the experience of those who are below the poverty line, but they're trying their utmost best to ensure that they are productive and that they're out there providing for their family. I can't believe it's been running, and the reports have been made, and the KCC is not in a position, or the National Water Commission, to remedy the situation
But
for weeks.
same way, Luke George, they can loan Petrojam $5 billion. Why is it that they can't take that $5 billion and fix the sewage system in Kingston and St. Andrew? Delroy Williams, where you collecting taxpayer money for? If you drive on in there proud and I can't hear it's me, we get Delroy way. Huh? Mayor Delroy Williams, the same people who don't have sewage water running downtown Kingston, them vote for no. It's the same people who live below Crossroads vote for no. The people of the Vumva and the Vumva Vina vote for no. And this is how we're treating poor people in this country. Jamaicans, wake up. We're going to take a commercial break from Roots 96.1 FM. We won't take a commercial break on my on the YouTube channel. We're not continue to talk. Delroy Williams. Mayor Delroy Williams of the KSFC or KSSC, whatever you want to call it. The whole sewage water that going from Desmond Mackenzie days. The whole sewage water that going from Angela Brown birthdays. And until now they can't fix the sewage water downtown Kingston. Is this?
Make we talk, people. Make we talk. Conversation is the key.
You're listening to Roots 96.1 FM, owned and operated by the Mustard Seed communities, giving voice to the voiceless.
New Budget Supplies massive rice buster now on. Want to redo that kitchen? Retile that old floor? Stop that leaking roof? Make over the bathroom? It's now or never. White toilet from $14,999. 5-gallon paint from $6,599. Gypsum board $1,749. 15% off UPVC French windows. 10% off kitchen sinks, water tanks, and pumps. 195 Hackleburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Get the real inner city community news and be informed. You can do all that and more on City Beat, Monday to Friday at 12:45 p.m. on Roots 96.1 FM. City Beat puts you in the know and keeps you rocking in the world of knowledge. So let City Beat catch you on Roots 96.1 FM, Monday to Friday at 12:45 for City Beat. City Beat is the pulse of the city, so don't miss it. Monday to Friday at 12:45 p.m. on Roots 96.1 FM.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough.
I wonder if the People's National Party gains state power. It seems that they don't lend Petrojam $5 billion for do it, while the people languish away. How long shall we continue like this as a people? Luke George, do you think the People's National Party stand a chance in the polls?
Jeffrey and make them look. We see an increase, but as I said before, Mr. Golding forgot there with a better message. He has to speak to the core issues that are affecting the Jamaican people. On Sunday evening, I heard him at another event, and there were sound bites of the event, and I hear president of the woman. I think she's president.
Patricia,
Yeah, I think yes, I think she's president. I know what she was president, but her sentiments in identifying the social problems, and I was a little bit surprised to see how well she articulated the problem, considering that she's really a part of the Vumva and the Vumva Vim, that she really demonstrated that she had an understanding. And so I looked at the clips and I saw her really rallying and exciting the crowd around the mere fact that you have not delivered on economic development that is profitable to every Jamaican. She was able to excite them on the ground that you have not delivered on healthcare. And she basically draw the assertion that, look, a Jamaican reach out for you who is a farmer for improving roads, but you send a donkey. And
Oh,
on
and did Jeffrey behave himself? Go ahead, talk.
and in that usual political style, Jeffrey had to laugh because right away the sound man drum up the tune, ride the donkey, and and Patricia can dance. Me know
Yeah.
that now. She have some black in her. No, no, you have to take a swipe at Mark Golden when him try for dance. You know some Mark Golden that have no look of black in them, and them have
Me
got black
can't
in
dance,
the
so me not say nothing.
too.
I cannot dance, but listen to me.
Well,
The
even if you
person who
can't
present,
dance, Jeffrey, you must can dance. Yes, 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 yes. You
the,
know
per-
that
the person who present the donkey to the lady, Jeffrey behave himself, no?
you mean Mr. Hutchinson?
Yes, J.C. Hutchinson. My God.
And um, and Jeffrey, we have been people too cruel to Mr. Hutchinson. All the donkey look like the man fifth generation, and them too wicked. Them is too. Hey, me no want the pan. Jeffrey, me no want up on the wrong side of them Jamaican people. I know. This remind me of when the woman up down Central did say every day them go to every day them go to Mr. Tweet's constituency, them say them their cabinet. She pray one day she go there and him turn break front.
But on a very serious note, we're here laughing, you know. But we are faced with some serious problem in this country, you know. St. Elizabeth is the breadbasket parish of this country. And they can't do nothing to help St. Elizabeth. Some pictures were sending to me, you know, from St. Elizabeth, where they have a water reservoir down there, you know, and they have some wind turbines. And you're telling me every single year there's a drought in St. Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Every year. And the two political parties hasn't done a bloody thing for St. Elizabeth.
And here's what I'm saying is that you have to be on point, Mr. Gordon. You have to be on point, Mr. Horners. The reality is that development has taken place in Jamaica, but not enough that is significantly impacting on the life of the ordinary Jamaican. That's the 75% of Jamaicans who fall below the poverty line and fall below the education line, but they're hardworking people, they're hustlers. Them go out there and them make them hustle. Now, we have been having water droughts, and in some places people have to buy in water. But the truth of the matter is that, Jeffrey, we have so much springs, we have so much small river, and we have not yet developed a way how we can harvest water to meet the domestic needs of the citizen. And when you're talking about the breadbasket, I was looking at a video where the Wyeth Falls, they were showing up to 28 feet, there was no water. And so the drought is real. But apart from that, climate change is real.
Yep.
And you don't hear a lot of public education or how the citizens can basically help themselves through water harvesting and those other knowledge that are out there. It also poses a major health risk because you're finding that people are getting heat strokes The elderly population has to take more safer measures in terms of when you're going out, you try to make sure that you have enough water, you have at least something to cover yourself that can help you to
You know,
um come
you
out
know,
of the sun
right.
and those things. You have to start warning people. On top of that, Jeffrey, you must remember, say, there is a new outburst of COVID-19, and that many of our hospitals are full. And so you have
And there's no bed.
yeah, you have to basically be educating people about how you survive in this. The heat, it's scorching. You go out there, man, you feel really beat up by the sun. And I encourage especially parents who have little children out there, invest in making sure that them have additional water, because trust me, the heat is brutal. It's brutal. But poorly managed, you don't hear the Minister of Misinformation coming out talking about the real issues in climate change, talking about the effects to the farming community. I really pray for our farmers, because this year is going to be terrible for them. I mean, they have been having bad year, but Jeffrey, this year is going to be terrible for them.
But not only that, I'm wondering, why are we loaning Petrojam $5 billion when until now nobody has been charged, dragged before the court, sent to prison for the over 5,000 barrels of crude oil that was stolen from Petrojam? And yet the taxpayers of this country, according to Nigel Clark, must loan Petrojam $5 billion when sewage water downtown Kingston, when KPH is in need of bed, when the police and is need of, the police are in need of cars, the teachers and the teachers that they need to be paid properly, and the nurses and the doctors and the security forces. Is this the country we're talking about a 2030 vision for?
Yeah,
Huh?
man, it's the country of me help you when you're in a bad situation, because you are gonna help me back. Petrojam is supposed to be refining oil, and it's supposed to be one of the major income earners. But if you are failing $5 billion to them, then you need to look at the annual report and say where the money is going, because seemingly, Jeffrey, almost every agency in Jamaica now are upon a loss profit situation. They are not producing at their maximum level, and including the private entities too. So there's a lot of woes that is going on in quite a few sectors. But Petrojam, you see, this is what happened. When we tell you, as citizens, we have to be vigilant. What what was Petrojam earning last year in their annual returns? Because just like how some people are complaining that a certain bank is not paying the shareholders a certain percent, we have to look on these things and put on the investigative lens. How is giving lending Petrojam $5 billion at this time helping the Jamaican people? And when you make such a loan to an entity that should be profitable, what does that mean in the face of the civil servants who are still waiting for you to settle the outstanding money that you owe them for over several years? You don't see where government is taking us, Jeffrey. So it's almost like we are being led blindly. But the things that we want you to pay attention to: health, education, economic growth and development, security, our international standing in the world. And you certainly would want to see once and for all, a plan to increase the capacity of the people like your farmers, your frontline workers. You want to make sure that they have all of the tools necessary that if Jamaica go through a food crisis, our farmers can respond effectively. You want to make sure that the men and women in uniform, although they are under scrutiny from the public, we have the technology in addition to the manpower to meet the challenge.
But
The prime minister really needs to do something
but
to
look,
show
George.
that his administration is credible.
But look, George. You're talking about our standing on the world stage and food security. Any well-thinking government and any well-thinking modern democracy see what is going on around the world. And Jamaica has some of the best soil known. Don't you think that they will come together and that $5 billion they're going to give to Petrojam, they'll come together and say, look here, we have to pump $5 billion in the agriculture industry in this country for small farmers to produce. And if a crisis should hit the world, we are secure when it comes down to food. All they think about, is sell out the country to the Chinese. To the chung lung chikalang chikalang chung chang chikalang chung chang 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 chang. One of these is when I get up in this country, and all I'm gonna hear, this is the People's Republic of China.
You honestly believe that?
You wait.
You honestly believe that with the Jamaican people, all we know how to revolt?
One thing I know,
Look, I want us to assess, Jeffrey, and let us assess what percent of Jamaica is owned by the Chinese. One of the things that I want somebody to tell me, and in very short order, what is our debt to China compared to our debt to France and for building the toll road and our debt to the US? And to see really who really own us, because to who the debtor is owned by the person who is holding the debt. So Mr. That right, the debtor is owned by the person to whom we owe
the debt too.
the debt to. So me really want to know, Jeffrey, because the truth of the matter is that we talk about these issues in this sort of, laissez-faire manner. But the truth of the matter, have we assessed in that $2 trillion of debt owed by the Jamaican people? Notice I'm not saying that the government, because the debt is owed by Luke, George, Jeffrey, Tavares, Papa Jesus, Jeffrey. I not see myself in the People Republic I get licked, I not see myself I go back there so I get licked. Who we owe and how much do we owe them? And what does it mean if we default at any point on that debt? If there's another outbreak of COVID and we have to take care of the home front, it is said that the existing situation that 75% of the Jamaican dollars is paid to the national debt, while we
paid
maintain.
we paid over $3 trillion in service in the debt already. We have paid over $2 trillion in service in the debt.
But if we're only paying to service the debt, it means that we are not paying off the debt. Because it means that there is a recurring decimal point that says that the more we pay, the more is required of us. So we have not paid our full pound of. You see, this is what I want you to do now. I want you to examine the issue. What does it mean when you look at who we owe in in 1, 2, and 3, it is that we owe, and what will it mean if we default on this, and what is the growth factor that is going to help Jamaica to grow so that we will be able to service the debt and at the same time meet the challenges of the Jamaican people. Because in another forum, if tourism goes, if the American cut down the visit to the island, what will that mean for us? So there's a lot of things that our government is not explaining to us. If this happen and if it continue to progress this way, if you're allowing people to sit over sewage water and the public health department has not come out and condemn you, although they are a part of government, but their function is to look at issues that threaten life and livelihood as part of their practice, and to look at it in terms of the far-reaching effect of it. And if we have a health situation that is as a result of the government's inaction, are the citizens in a position, therefore, to sue the government that may have caused them now to have health issues that are sometimes going to be long effect, that it will affect
You know
them?
something, Luke? It is good to sue the government, you know. But it's the poor pauperizing people pocket we still going on. I want when we sue the government, it come out of the politicians in pocket. That's what should happen. We can't have a country where they believe they can go and get away with everything. Are we going to hear a statement from the Prime Minister this afternoon in Parliament pertaining to what is going on with America? Are we going to hear, I say we are in the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. The good lady sent out some statement that don't make any bloody sense to me. Are we going to hear from the Prime Minister pertaining to the high climate, the high, what do I call it? The hotness is going on in the country. What are we going to do? It's climate change is real. It is on our hand. It is right here.
When me tell you, me not hear nobody, the Minister of Health. I'm just sitting and I'm saying, you hear Sahara Desert sun is over the island. You don't hear a lot of things about the effects of it. Last 2 weeks ago, I barely hear somebody come on the radio and said the exposure to the sun, we need to stay out of the sun for X amount of time. I hardly was want to say, oh, you're going to do that, because literally the whole away for the on the road that try to make the side hustle them work so that we can put on pot pot with fire.
And
But
hold on there, look. The local time we have leave on this program here on Roots FM. The question must be asked. If the opposition party should gain state power tomorrow morning, what will they do differently?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Jeffrey. On the campaign trail, Mr. Golden was vague in his the Parliament speech in terms of he hit on some good points about he has an hand on the essential things that needs to change, but he has not said how. For instance, to his credit and his party, he did say that the SOE were a violation of the citizens' constitution rights. And interestingly, we saw the Court of Appeal saying, yes, there will be no extension to this. There are, in fact, it is unconstitutional. So if you have the substance, why you don't put it out there to make people can reason it out? And as you're saying, Mr. Golden, here is how it must come in priority. How you plan to grow the economy. the poor will always be with us, but the poverty that we are seeing is alarming. Secondly, are you going to fix the health sector once and for all? Are you going to fix the education system once and for all? Are you going to stop this bloodletting in terms of what you call a constitution reform and actually reforming? How are you going to increase or ignite in the men and women serving in your government service a sense of pride and under the PMP, who never paid the people them, and the JLP inherited the long-standing outstanding money that you pay the civil service. Where are you going to create the additional wealth to take care of this? What is your plan on how we fight crime? And they have to be very clear. And so they have to go send out their spokesperson. I don't see Damian Crawford. It looked like he is.
He was at the conference at the Edith Dalton School. And believe you me, when he came in like the president of America, former President Barack Obama.
Where you say I'm ready.
I'm ready. Time come to let Damian Crawford become president. Jeffrey behave yourself of the People's National Party. Luke George, join us at 1 o'clock. This is where we have to say so long to Roots 96.1 FM.
Okay, Jeffrey, since yes, being your co-host is now my utmost pleasure. All right, Jeffrey.
Thank you very much. Until you hear my voice again, I am Jeffrey Tavares, returning to the studios of Roots 96.1 FM. Join me at 1 o'clock.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk.